Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Anno 117 Pax Romana. We're picking up right where we left off at the end of the previous episode. However, we're due an overhaul. We're going to begin the episode with about a 15-minute time lapse here, reworking our island to combine the two little villages we have together and kind of start getting a more permanent layout in place. So let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in. We got a beefy 17-minute time lapse. Grab your hot chocolate, cup of hot cocoa with a little bit of marshmallow for these autumnal cozy evenings together. It's very intimate, these kind of things. I'm just sitting back watching this with you. Now, I might go quiet at certain points because there might not be anything relevant to say. I don't want to just be spewing word salad for the sake of it. Sometimes it's nice to enjoy the music and the sounds and sights of Anno 117. So starting off here, we're working on the coastline at the very bottom of the island. I also tried to mitigate moving the camera too much. It's obviously moving a lot right there, but soon after this I tried to cut out bits where that was happening. So, we started with 10,000 in the bank. We're going to end up with negative 10,000, and then I just had to stop. So I didn't even get a full rework done like I wanted. Now, my initial idea was to actually build over on the other side of the river, where that big open clearing was. And I have a layout planned out for future building there with like tier 3 and 4. But it turns out when I was trying it, I was like, dude, I just can't afford it. There's too, like, everything costs money to build and move. So this is, even just this costs 20,000, and you can't go lower than negative 10. So it's the best I could do. So I decided, okay, forget that. Reloaded back to the same save point, and I went, okay, instead, we'll do a Libertas residential area focused along the coast, like a port town sort of thing. So these are all going to be Libertas residences. And that's sort of hopefully going to be the backbone of our workforce for a long time to come. At least I hope so. It's not going to increase too much, but it should increase a little bit. So anyway, starting off, we have our big coastline that's flattened out. I'm also trying to ingratiate a few area of effect buildings, and also just, you know, throw in a few of the fields and farms and things like that along the riverbanks. So try to break up the grid a little bit. You know, you could easily do a pure 100% efficiency grid-based building. I tried to do a bit of both. Probably not good enough to be great beauty building, probably not that efficient, but to me, it's a bit of both. It's like I don't want to be purposefully inefficient, but at the same time, it's not the be-all and end-all of the goal of this layout. So anyways, we have our residences over on the left. We have a wheat farm and now a grain mill that are poised to go in next to the river. Unfortunately, because money was so tight, I had to do a lot of this in the blueprint mode, so I know it might be hard to see some of the buildings, but throughout the time-lapse, we'll be throwing in the buildings and filling in the area. But this was really just for me to gauge a layout, which can be really useful. You know, you can use the blueprint mode, it's mostly free, obviously just paying for the roads. So you gauge your layout, you see how everything will fit together, and then you can just populate it with the existing buildings that you have by moving them over. So that's basically what I was doing. So here, we have a market, the officium building. So I also laid it out so I have 2 officiums in this town. So those are the sub-governor buildings that allow a couple items or specialists to reside in there, giving you bonuses. And we'll see that straight away when we start the game. I'm going to put a workforce one in there to boost the workers of the Libertas even further. And we can do things in future like maybe reduce their needs or consumption, or even boost the workforce or population. So look forward to that, just getting more out of these guys. So hopefully we're ready for that in the future, having these buildings like spaced out evenly, because they can't overlap their radii. Anyways, so yeah, down by the coast, I know I'm jumping all over the place a little bit. We've got the salt pond. I decided to put the garum maker in there. So next to the officium, I've gone for like a production area. We have the sandal maker, the felter, so the guys that make the hats, and the spinner. So they're all together with a warehouse, with an officium, with a market, with a tavern, and a few of those city buildings like the City Watch and the Medici, I believe. So we'll see it come to life in a little bit. So now I'm just populating the area with a few more houses. I also, as you can see, added in a big wall along the coast. I know a lot of people want this, and I do too, which is to build inside that bay area and like have that be where we draw ships in. So I'm planning on building a dock in there once we get stone and concrete going that we don't need for the aqueduct. We'll do a bit more of a formal port in there, have the repair crane in there and a few other things, and the trading post, so ships will have to sneak in there to go in there. At the moment, I've actually relocated the shipbuilding in there, so our ships will come out of that bay, which I still think is kind of cool, but we're not really defending it with all the towers along the coast or anything yet. Anyways, so because I was being very grid-like, I decided, okay, here we'll try to be a bit more creative with the sanctuary. So similar to how I did in my pre-release playthrough. I built a sanctuary with some of these sort of, I don't know what you call them, like the pillars and the crenellated... Oh, there it says, broad colonnade. That's the name of it. So I decided to do some broad colonnade around it, just to make it a little bit more shelter, ornate, interesting looking. Some statues at the front with those tall braziers that are up on pillars. And then some extra trees and things like that. And this will all be paved with concrete, hopefully, in the future. At least the roads, I mean. And then we'll fill all of that in with, like, the fieldstone, I think it's called. Which I've just done, actually. I forgot I did it in this. Yeah, and I was just experimenting around. Like, I went quite wide with it, wider than I have done before. And I was like, oh man, I could put more houses in there. But I was like, no, just leave it. Make it look pretty. It's the sort of the centerpiece. It is just a sanctuary. But through our various texts and things, the sanctuary is actually reaching across, like, side to side. So we only need one there in the center. Especially when we get the concrete roads, I think it'll have full maximum reach. So we should be totally fine then. The Grammaticus, on the other hand, has much less reach. So these are going to be kind of overlapping each other for now. Tech is important. I can't just be like, oh, we'll get that eventually. It's like, no, I really want to build up tech points as much as possible. So I don't mind them overlapping it a little bit at first. And then if we get the concrete roads, maybe we can re-overhaul this area in the future. That's something I'll be mentioning later in the video, which is this will be redone again, no doubt. As we look to move the workforce onto different islands, you know, we'll have more plebeians on this island than eques and then patricians. So you'll obviously need to rework things to fit into these larger buildings and make sure everyone has reach. So initially when I was building in the open clearing area, I actually worked out the sizes of the forum, the theater, and the bath. And I was like carving them out in roads, so I knew where they were going to go. But for this, I don't have any of that in place because they're not really going to need it. You do get the benefit if you cover them with it, but we're not going to cover them with it for another couple of episodes at least. You'll see it in this video. My real problem today is going to be, on the next few episodes, just money. Money is so tight. So yeah, I'm going to be struggling, because to build those big buildings is like 15 grand each, but to get another island, it's literally 130,000 to get one of the big ones. So it's like, geez. I mean, at our current income, that would take like over an hour of spending nothing. Because for those who don't know, the money is per minute. So yeah, so it would take a very long time. Now obviously contracts and things bolster that, and you always feel like you can build yourself out of it. It's like, well, if I keep building, I'll make even more money, but it does cost you money to build. So it's a delicate balance. So we'll see. Anyways, getting sidetracked, we have the aqueduct in place with a couple of cisterns. I was kind of disappointed with the reach of the cisterns, not that big, ultimately, so I decided I'd need two of them, one on each side. Now again, with paved roads, maybe a bit better, but for now, they're going to be both down in the center of this town, effectively, or on each side of it. When we get the paved roads, though, I think we could probably pull it back a bit, like away from the coast a little bit, on both sides. The one on the right I'll actually redo in a minute, to push it further over toward my farms. And we've queued up the technologies to get the aqueduct farm tech as well, so hopefully our farms are going to be boosted also with this. Now ultimately, the eques are the ones that need, like, actually have a need for the aqueduct. So they're going to need it too, quite literally. And that will give us great fire safety and happiness, I think. Oh no, it's health. Health and fire safety, that's it. So anyway, as you can see, I'm just depopulating the town, the little village that we set up in the previous episode over on the left, and just moving it all over into the center here. And that's going to keep open that big open clearing for us in the future to build a bespoke layout. And I could even do that before we start populating it, instead of doing it through the episodes, making temporary layouts. Because I know what it's going to be, or at least I'm pretty sure. Again, just going for a mix. I'm always trying to go for a mix of like, yeah, let's throw a few production buildings in there, mostly houses, but we want some production buildings. They need their own warehouse. And trying to put things in places where they make sense. It's like, I don't necessarily want like production buildings on top of the temple. So we try to create buffers of houses or open clearings and things like that, and then add them in. I decided to keep the garum works in just for the memes, down toward the coast, actually, and I didn't show it, but if you see the garum on the bottom left, it's actually also close by to the scomber shack and the salt pond, so it has two ingredients it needs right there. So you can obviously pull them in without having to go to a warehouse, so that's pretty good too. On the right side here, I'm doing a lavender field. I just thought, hey, why not get the happiness benefit on some of these houses? So it's not deep in there, which would be a bit weird, but we built it out to the side. You could, of course, build it in the town and actually just, I think the minimum amount of fields you need are 30 or something quite small. So if you just wanted a building that gave you, like, I think it's 2 happiness per house, You could throw a lavender works in there with just 30 tiles, and then you'd have a decent little happiness benefit to everybody. But to me, I don't really like running buildings at like not full efficiency, so unless you give it all the fields, it's not going to be fully efficient, so I don't like doing that. Now, at the back of the Grammaticus here, there was room for more houses, but I just thought, no, let's make this one a bit more ornate. So similarly, I have like a sanctuary that's quite ornate in the center, a Grammaticus that's quite ornate in the center, and then the other ones are a bit more piled upon, right? They don't have as much clearing around them. So I like to think these are like the main ones, in a way, or the most popular destinations. I look forward to in the future, I'm sure, no doubt, we'll get different skin models for these sanctuaries, so you can maybe have different looking versions. At least with Anno 1800, they eventually did that, you know. Whoop, sorry, I hit the microphone. In Anno 1800, they did that where almost every building had like multiple variants of skins eventually. They take up the same amount of the same size, but they might have different color rooftops or slightly different layouts or different models. So you can just kind of transition between them, and that just creates a lot of variety in your city, so you don't have to have copy-paste buildings everywhere. I will say, in doing the beautification here this time, I'm finding it very challenging because there just isn't that much to work with. Like, the amount of ornaments we have is probably the same as 1800 at the launch of that game, but it's like, damn, man. You know, it's like 20 things, effectively, that you have to, like, repurpose around the place in different areas. So you gotta be somewhat creative creating your own plazas and layouts to buildings and stuff. So not many houses left to go on that left side, just almost got them all in. The other thing was that the game was paused this whole time. You can see now with the amount of stuff I've moved, we're already at negative 1,500. So we spent 11,500 just doing this. Most houses to move are very cheap, but when you place things like the temples or the Grammaticus, you know, they're like 1,000 a piece. Because we built some new ones. So that's what really set me back, and the fields will set me back a lot here. So I'm building a new lavender field here. And again, that just knocks you out for money. Same with like the wheat field and stuff like that. So I realized in the way I've been building, I wanted to move things down a bit, the plebeians and all of that. That's the temporary sort of old town, so that's due its own rework still. I won't get to that today, unfortunately, or even in the next episode. Again, it's all about money. So we're going to try and just make do with what we have and move it down, and then eventually like reorganize and move some of those guys out to the bigger clearing, probably when they become equies. So on the right side, there's a little mine over there, and there's a bunch of fields. There's a technology for... Oh, sorry, there's going to be fields. I'm putting down fields. But there's a technology for the Aqueduct to actually boost mines. So I was thinking that could be where the iron mine goes. And then we have a few fields around there too. So all these fields will get like a production benefit, and then the mine will get a production benefit too. And that way we don't have to feed the Aqueduct over to the other mines, which are quite far on the other side of the island. The limestone ones aren't too far, but the other ones are quite far away, so I think it would be ideal just to... Because what's going to take a lot of water from the cistern, there's a finite amount that comes out of it. And you're irrigating the farm, so that takes some of the water. You're irrigating like the mine, effectively, you know what I mean? You're giving it like a water wheel or whatever to help it. And doing that is going to eat into the water, but then you also need some for the baths and the forum. Like, they drink some of the water too. The houses don't, by being near the cistern, thankfully. But yeah, those big buildings do. And I was actually looking in here, seeing like, is there anything that extends the reach of the cistern? And I couldn't find anything. I did a quick look though. But in not seeing anything, I decided, okay, that cistern's got to move because we're not going to reach the farms. So I decided to move it over just a little bit more to the right. And then knowing it wouldn't fully reach them now, I was like, yeah, okay, that means with paved roads, they will. Now, eventually, you also get marble roads, and I don't know their reach, because I've never seen them yet. But I'm guessing even further, right? So that means you'll just have more reworks to do in the future. Alright, it's time to place in the oat farms. It actually took quite a long time doing this, so I just skipped ahead where I basically had them in place, which was here. Nice, and then I have it connected to the mine as well, so yeah, all good, all ready to go. We're approaching the end of the time lapse now, just another minute to go, I think. So last little bit here, just moving some houses back over to these open quarters. It's real fun, like building this as like a Lego piece or like a little puzzle that you have to kind of move things together, get everything their benefits and stuff. For people who do want really efficient layouts, if you're still watching, you could go to the Anno subreddit, and people are starting to post like what they feel are optimal layouts, where it's like, okay, there's like 16... or no, there's like 8 buildings that give you benefits in Latium. Here's how to lay it out in like a 17 by 17 grid, and then you can just place things around it in a circle and you get all the benefits, you know? So people are starting to crack the code on what potentially could be the most optimal layouts. I think one of the great things with this game is, though, it's not as straightforward as it was in 1800. Like, I like that. In 1800, you have a trade union. There is an optimal way to cram buildings into that thing. In this game, it's a little less obvious, at least, because you've also got the proximity effects from these large superstructures like the forum, the theater, the bath, the amphitheater. These things are huge. Like, they're really, really big. So you can't just... There's no, like, okay, cram everything in here perfectly. It's like, no, they overlap each other in different ways. And it's up to you, like, what you want to get the most out of. So I think that's much more creative and much more interesting, personally. But it probably doesn't scratch the super efficiency itch that 1800 did, where you knew exactly, like... Look, if I deliver oil to these farms, I get 300%. If I cram them in around this trade union, I get 600%. And now they are running effectively like 10 times better than they possibly could. And then I give it another item, and they have a byproduct where they're also... It's like... It's not just a cocoa farm, but it also yields sugar for some reason. And then you just have so much stuff. Like, I know people really love that kind of thing. But I gotta say, I really do prefer the more creative approach in this one, I find, anyway. So, but, you know, different strokes. I think we'll probably end up getting rid of the wood production eventually, because we could probably just buy wood from now on. It takes up a lot of space. And knowing that we can buy things so much more reliably in this game, it's like, yeah, I guess we could just get rid of it. But that's pretty much going to be it for the rework. We'll spend a little bit of time even looking around the town and walking around a bit, but I didn't spend too long in this episode. We will in a future one when I do the paved roads and get the aqueduct in. We'll get down on the ground, I'll show you the different districts, and we'll get to know the place a bit more intimately. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the new and improved city of Roma. At least I hope it's considered improved, and it's the first of many improvements, really. This is going to be a gradual process as we evolve the city over time. No doubt the Liberty class are going to evolve into their plebeian form, and then they're going to go into the Equites and the Patricians. So we want to offload as many Liberty from this island as possible, putting them on other islands, doing all the farming and importing stuff into this place as time goes on. It's going to take a little while to get there. You know, we're only on episode 4. We're 4 hours into this playthrough. So give me a damn break. I'm trying. Now, originally I was actually building out here and decided, no, we're going to keep everything focused here, declutter that area, as we're going to be adding in those huge mega buildings, the sort of forum, the theater, the bath, the amphitheater. These things are huge, and we're going to need a lot of space to kind of figure out where those things are going to go. The idea for me was that the Governor Villa was going to be more centralized here, and a lot of those big buildings will be around the rivers, and then everything out from that. So, and hopefully all at different angles. I know we're very grid-like at the moment. Hope people don't mind too much. Okay, so obviously, just a quick thing to touch on. Haven't filled in all the blueprints yet. We're out of money. I hit the threshold of negative 10,000, and once you do that, it says, hey, if you stay at negative 10,000 and you're not turning a profit, you will lose in 10 minutes. Now, that's obviously okay. We are profitable. In fact, after the rework, we're slightly more profitable than we were before. However, we're lacking a little bit of Libertas workforce. So let's catch up on the current situation. Our flagship, the Etruria, which we're going to rename to the Caesar, is on its way over to Diana, and it has 5 sandals on board, and that is going to give us a little cash injection of about 2,500 from her, 2,600. And of course, your boy is going to ask for a ransom that we obviously cannot pay, so we'll have to accept the risk yet again. Now, we're currently researching triremes, and I'm hoping to get some triremes to go fight his ships and finally reclaim the seas. Now, we also have to rescue 3 flotsam for Zara Nitu. There's one here, there's another one in the north, and another one in the east, so we'll do that. Now we've got 2 military ships down here, actually by our island of Arretium. I'm just going to send them back. So something I hadn't noticed, or I failed to notice until the episode ended, but people caught it in the comments as well, was that there's only 1 cargo slot on these ships. There was 2 before, but I added oars, And I didn't realize that if you add more military things, it eats into your cargo space. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but that's the way it works. Some ships have reserved cargo space where you can never overwrite them, but these ones, the Pentacounters, do, so worth noting. Anyways, that just means that you're not picking up what you should be, so we're just going to do that manually now, get our resin, and you two can just travel together back here and get in there. Now, as I mentioned, we haven't actually had the cash to do all the blueprints for this just yet, so we're still lacking a little bit, but now that we're only 5 grand in debt, we can spend a little bit more to get this Officium. Why do we want that? Well, we're lacking 5 Libertus workforce right now. Inside our Governor Villa, in our old town, we have, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing that guy, the Subjugating guy. He actually affects workforce from residents plus 40%, but only for Liberty and Waiter residences. So we can get him out of there. We suffer almost no penalty. And if we throw him in down here, plus 74. It's efficiency. It's efficiency at its finest. I know you're quite impressed. Okay, as long as they're going to leave me alone. There was 2 of them. They could have probably taken me out. Although it is my flagship, so maybe not. Just leave me alone, alright? I'm not in the mood for more combat right now. Okay, I think we're pretty much all caught up. So today, I would love to get that aqueduct finished. It's going to be quite complicated because we have to go all the way up to the hill to get it working. And unfortunately, this hill is sort of bugged. If we build another one here, and we try to get these two... Now, I'm obviously just going to do blueprint mode. But if we try to get them to combine, they just can't. And I've confirmed this with someone else who has this same island. No matter which way we build them, it just always says that the angle is too steep. I don't know how far you'd have to go down before you can maybe merge them, but it certainly can't be done early on. It just doesn't seem to want to be merged. But you can merge them. I've done it in another island, in another playthrough. But they're just not playing ball. Don't know why. Which is such a damn shame. We need those two to connect, really. So we'll look to build even just the one later. But I'm really banking on hoping that Ubisoft maybe look into that. I'm going to actually send them even an email because I'd really like them to... if they could get on that, that'd be great. Because in the future, we want to combine them so we can fill this area with water as well and hit the farms and hit all of the different things. So that's the goal. How's our ship doing, by the way? Is it getting away from those pirates? Yeah, they're sort of chasing me, but it's not too bad. I think we'll make our way away. Away. Alright, are there any other quests to do? No, I think all the contracts are kind of fulfilled now for a little while. We do have a couple in Albion to get to, and we're going to be over in Albion soon enough. So let's just fill in some of these little extra details here now that we've got a little bit of cash. And I realized that I messed this up. We want that to be the same as the other side. I was going to do it differently and try to put trees in there, but it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, I actually forgot. I've disconnected the ships for now. We'll just reapply them or get them back together. Kind of a waste of money drawing this road like this. I'm not really too sure how we'd want to do it. I'm going to try and make more permanent decisions if I can to avoid the incurring such massive rework costs. I mean, that was 20 grand just to rework the island, and I didn't even get to rework at all. So yeah, generally would like to improve that if we could. I'm going to move these rope makers down here to where the sail makers are. Hopefully they have no problem with the warehouse down here. We'll just improve that warehouse real quick. And if we could improve the one over here, that'd be good too. Let's get our Custodia in there and here. Right, so that's obviously eating away a lot of money again, and it looks like you're missing a warehouse. Oh, actually, this has to change around. So this is the grain mill. Our grain mill is here, so we'll move this grain mill down here, next to its new wheat farm. And this clay building can go back there. So now the clay is all kind of up in one area. The wheat is down in its own area. And we could throw in the lavender as well. And hopefully that's kind of all the costs we have to incur. No, it's not. We have to pay for the Grammaticus. And we need another Grammaticus that I'm actually going to do out here. This was going to be the olive press. We're going to get rid of that one and get rid of 2 houses. And do another Grammaticus here. Basically, I just knew I had to do this stuff and I forgot to do it. Rotate that. Alright, cool. Actually, yeah, that's fine the way it is. Alright, a little bit better. Hopefully a bit more permanent. And then, yeah, let's just dress this up to look a bit nicer. So if we hold shift click, we can do all of the same type. There. A little bit better, right? Once you put the stone roads in as well, it's going to look great. Quite big open areas here. I could have fit more another house in there, another house in here, but I just thought it'd be nice to have somewhat of a centerpiece somewhere, because I did kind of cram everything else together quite a lot. Just kind of made sense, I felt, as we get closer to the dock and we have the lower tier residences. I wanted them to be a bit more piled on each other, whereas the higher tiers, this is all temporary by the way, but the higher tiers we're going to have a lot more of that kind of open space. I have what I think is a nice layout for a big shrine, one of these shrines, and like houses laid out around it, in and around the villa. So I already played around with that layout, so I've just saved a screenshot of it, and I'll hopefully utilize it in a future video once we actually get to reworking them. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for this side of the town until we can afford the aqueduct. In order to afford the aqueduct, we'll actually have to purchase tiles. So I'm going to say maintain the stock at 125 if you can. We've got the concrete, so there's no problem there. They won't buy anything though until we actually turn it positive, so we have to do our quests and things like that, and we'll continue building in Albion. Shouldn't be too expensive to build out there, for the most part. Alright, we've got 2 of these. I'd like to finish this quest and then we'll focus on Albion a bit more. One other thing I wanted to do, I guess, was build on the other island a bit more, like I said. Yeah, so you guys can head back out there. I'm just going to manually do this until we get our trireme made, which is going to cost us 2,000 or something, so we can't build that until we get the money for that. Ooh, you know what we should do? Let's just beg.
Why are you here?
Hey,
No tribe.
she's got a treaty. What do you got? Ooh, trade treaty. Yes, absolutely. You're happy with me? Moderate population, limited economy, and she likes that I refuse the ransom. Let's be friends.
Why, yes. It has all the proper seals and signatures.
Thank you, Zara. Cool. That's good. I don't want, you know, she's a bit of a warmonger. Well, not really a warmonger, but she's army, naval, defensive, economic, prestige. She's way ahead of me anyway. Concordia is more even. This guy's even a little bit more even. Don't worry about the army power. That's like nothing. It's 3 units she has basically. But the fact that she's so strong elsewhere, like I looked at her island recently and I was like, damn, you know, it's like all tier 3. So that's how she's getting on at the moment. And Concordia, much smaller, you know. She's more in line with me. She's got a little festival going on at the moment, actually. So obviously I'm trying to always race to take islands, but we're so broke now that there's no chance of getting any new islands for a little while. Also, we have a look in here to your boy. I'm at plus 28, and it says with the little timer here, a governor with this icon might change tiers soon. Don't know what that means. I don't know if it's just an event that makes us change the tier, or do we have to be over 30? Either way, we want to have this tier so we can get cheaper islands. Alright, cool. Is that pretty much it? I think that's it. So a lot of these schematic buildings now, that's another officium. These are like some of the, like the latrines, the watchtowers, basically city, what are the services? City services. So the well, the watchtower, the latrines, that's going to help all of these 3 attributes, you know, health, happiness, and island fire safety. But once we get the 2 cisterns in, this one and this one, the island fire safety will just be totally, not even really a problem. It might still be negative, but not nearly as bad as it is. Yeah, we don't have a cistern actually feeding into the equites, which are the guys that actually need it as one of their needs. But that's fine. They'll probably still get it. They're close enough, especially if we do stone roads. Okay, right, how's our ship doing now? Cool. All right, let's head over to Arretium. Let's see if we can build this place up a little bit more. So I'm just going to cram more houses in here in a pretty lazy way. And we don't have to be that lazy about it. Maybe we could do this. And that's just to get a bit more workforce and money flowing, and then we can put some ships, we can take ships from this island. I do know you can do that. People were mentioning it in the comments. Appreciate that, but I do know. We've only got 30 workforce right now. But yeah, I'm going to scale it up so we can actually do that. And that means we can just employ the ships workers from here and save our main production islands to do more important things if we need them to. It's tragic. Even the gates for your walls require workforce. It's madness. Madness. It's not madness. I actually quite like the feature, but it's like, damn, you just really have to be on it. You're under attack. Is that the Quinquereme? Oh yeah, it is. My guy's about to pass by him. They are. Maybe we should try to avoid that. Still won't be able to take out that Quinquereme. So you're coming around here to get this one, yeah? Yeah. Alright, so with all of that, we're going to need... We don't need an extra sheepfold, but we will need another one of these. That's 60 out of 60. And we'll need another one of those. And we'll put this up on the top, I guess. And another one of these, and we'll put this up here. This row can go away, actually. Okay, cool. Let's get them in. Right, so I expect to see the workforce climb dramatically here. So we just provided them with everything they need. And the market, I think, can still reach everybody. Yeah. So they should be fine to grow from there. They're are gonna suffer island safety. By the way, you can see this declining slowly. This was pointed out to me, and this was something I did not know, which is... I thought when you just level up, you hit a new city status level, you get these negative effects. But that's not true. It actually just directly scales with population. It just went from negative 0.4 to negative 0.5 per residence. Now it's negative 0.6. So that just scales. So F me, I guess. I just assumed by... Well, I don't even know what the point of the tiers are then. But okay. But yeah, as you level up, basically you just take on more negatives, no matter, or not even level up, sorry, as you gain more population, you just take on negatives. So I did not know that, so thank you for pointing that out to me, because I would have assumed otherwise. You know, for those who don't know, I work on Manor Lords. I'm a designer on Manor Lords, and I half designed the new approval system that's coming in the beta. I've designed other features fully, but this one was done between me and Greg. And the approval system now is going to be broken into tiers. You go from like 0 to 100%, but if you're between 90 and 100%, you're at like tier 5. If you're between 60 and 90, you're tier 4. But it isn't... You have to actually reach the tier to get the effects of that tier. And we have alpha testers, and they were actually saying like, oh, I'd rather you just get effects all the time. And I thought like, no, you're scaling, you're sliding up and down the scales too much that way. Dude, we're about to get attacked here. Stay defensive. Let's go for that guy. I've noticed, I gave the attack order for the ship. It won't fire its arrows unless it gets into range. It stays at the max range, which is not ideal. Dude, why did you just go so far forward like that? I'm so sorry. Every episode I'm losing ships because I suck. He did say he was going to attack. To be honest, I don't actually mind losing the Pentagon just now. I'm going to lose that one on purpose. I don't care. Although I suppose I could have sold it, actually. Yeah, let's try and sell it. Because we're going to get triremes anyway, and I want the workforce off them. What do we get? Sails and wood. Okay. You can go home. You pick up the stuff one last time for a journey, and then we're going to get building. So what I actually went into diplomacy for on purpose was... to get loans, to beg. So can I just have some money, please? Thank you.
Remember, a king expects his due.
She said she didn't have enough for a loan when we had her screen open.
And what with all the
No.
coming in,
But we've got money now. And with that money, we're going to build ships. So we have a Legio 2. So the interesting thing with this is it has 3 cargo slots. So if we just do even sails, and we'll get rid of the ore, and we'll get rid of that. So let's have a look at these. You know, I kind of zoomed through it before, if you want to really pay attention. So each block of ship archers, so these 2 are always cargo slots. We can never fill them. There's no technology, nothing that ever fills them. They're just cargo. But the top 3 can be changed. So I'm going with sails. Now if we take off the sails, we see that the max speed goes from 81 to 98 if we add them on. If we add on oars instead, the max speed never changes, but the minimum speed does. I kind of would rather the max speed. Maybe that's just me being crazy. We could do one of each and just play around with it. I'm definitely going 2 ship archers though. I'm not changing that no matter what. I want the firepower. This thing, the scorpions, I'm mixed on them. You know, they don't fire very often. They add range, which means that if you're not microing, it'll do what my ship did there, which was it stayed back only firing scorpions, which I guess is like, hey, we get the first shot off, and if we keep them at bay far enough away, you can keep firing at them, they can't fire at you. But it doesn't really work that way. So you'd have to be really attentive. So I just don't really like them that much. It'd be tempting to go with 3 of them and see what that's like, actually. So I'm kind of torn between these. You know, minimum speed for getting away is usually pretty good, but being on the offensive with the max speed is better. Or not better, but it's more what I want. So gonna commit to that. Now, it is negative 49 workers for this one ship. So we'll make that. Anyway, we're left with 2 cargo slots is the important thing. So we could just stick that on the trade route, and it'll defend itself. Someone, I think, mentioned that in the comments, and I was thinking about that. I just didn't realize we'd even have the cargo slots to do so. So that's cool. Now, this ship, I'm probably going to sell it. It's negative 31 Libertas workforce, so don't really want them on a small ship like that, to be honest. Unless it's a trade ship, and then there wouldn't be that many. It's going to be such a weak military ship that you might as well just get rid of it. Right, so you have to go to Zara and drop off those crates, and then we'll take all the other stuff into our main island. Okay, so we're making progress. Sorry if I suck again with the combat aspect. In Anno 1800, I don't think I ever lost a ship. I'm just going to put that claim out there. I probably did, but it felt like I never did. We were friends with the pirates, so they never attacked me. And then when we went to war, we just like stacked a bunch of our ships together and just destroyed everything. This game, I'm losing ships left, right, and center. I don't know why. They're just bad. Anyway, how long is that going to take? 10 minutes. And it costs like 6,500, so it's serious money. I really don't want to lose that. It's equivalent to losing 2 of those other ships. And Diana's doing her trades. We should be able to buy up the tiles we need now to complete the aqueduct. And we can have a look at this. Look, 131 workforce on this island now, and they should be fine if we check the consumer goods. I didn't scale up porridge actually, but they do have the sardines. Slightly low on tunics and Peleus. Alright, yeah, porridge. My bad. I'll just pop it over here, I guess, before we have to rework this place. Okay, and then they need another porridge maker. Stick it in there. So that should be them pretty much sorted. Yeah, it's going to be fun deciding how we build on this island. There's gold here. Someone was saying, like, oh, can you not, like, mine the gold? I don't think so. I think you have to get to tier 5. Or, sorry, 4 before you can. Yeah, we don't even have it in the options. So, I don't know. I assume you get gold bars or something that's used in jewelry, something like that. But for now, we cannot do that. But we'll do it eventually. All in good time. The ship is no doubt going to be killed before it gets home. Oh, maybe we could sell it to her first while we're here. I don't know if she takes ships. Well, let's see. We'll go there and see if we can sell it. Because I know Diana takes the ships if you want to sell them, but I don't know if she does.
Where people are free to live as they choose.
Alrighty. While we've got a little bit of money and some concrete, might just pave one of the roads for funsies. We'll pave around the sanctuary. Now we're talking. Look at that. That's what it should look like. Yeah. It's coming together. Painfully slowly, but it is coming together. How's our devotion? And speaking of devotion, it's been telling me, hey, you haven't put one on your other islands yet. Sorry. Does it really matter which one? We could go for the research, actually. Additional knowledge from all residences. Minerva. And Zara Nitu would like that.
In education.
There she is. Albion. In Albion, we're limited on coastal space, so maybe boosting your cockles would be good.
Citizens are dissatisfied with their lot.
This would probably be good as well, though, because you just get all the stuff that's to do with them. So we'll do this as well, actually. Now, if we have a look at the devotion screen and we go into the global stance, we've unlocked our shrine. We need to get to 4,000 devotion to get Vervactor's Plow. All farms can support up to 50% more field modules, allowing an increase of up to 50% productivity. That's nice and everything, but I've already built my farms. Damn it. Got a riot here, but we're well covered for the first time ever, so that's good to see. So not going to be causing too many problems before we can get on it. Our ship has arrived. Here you go, Zara. 3,100. I'll take it. We're still profitable, even though we're paying back those 2 loans right now, so I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, let's get back to our home island. We'll go over to Albion for a little bit while we wait for our trireme to be made. We're going to make 2 triremes. Now, our ship here is just chilling outside Manx's place. Okay. You know what? I might send this ship to... Yeah, I'm going to send the ship to Latium. This is a trireme with 5 slots. It's got nothing equipped onto it. It actually doesn't even take workforce. It's just a free ship.
Your city is impressive.
Gonna send it to Roma.
A little consideration for aesthetics wouldn't go amiss.
How dare you, Ben Balion? I just spent so long on aesthetics. He's criticizing me straight away. What do we need from ya boy? 21 tons of rope for 5,000. Give me that. Right, you're gonna go to Latium, pick up the rope and the sails, and just bring it back here, and we'll make good money doing that. Hello, Governor. I've been thinking. We're a bit wimpy when it comes to warfare.
I've been thinking, if we had some ships of our own, maybe we could stand up to Road like you do.
Sure. I've seen this quest. We can't do it. That's pretty much as far as I've ever gone, actually, so I shouldn't have seen any more quests after this. But you need to send ships out to here, and then you have these mock battles. You actually need quite a few ships. I mean, it says mock battles, but your ships will die. So that's just another one on the back burner for later. Right, so here we are in Albion. We've just got the bare basics up and running. Let's try to build a bit more considerably and permanently. So I'm going to build at an angle, finally, down to this coastline. And if we could try to build across the coast, maybe like that. Let's try to be a little bit more deliberate with what we do. Alright, there's loads of woods and stuff up here, so let's get some decent wood production going on up there for the future. 1, 2. Just 2. Don't know if we need any more. Maybe 4. I'm being very generous actually with the spacing, but don't worry about that. Bonk bonk. Alright, those ones are gone. Workforce should be okay. So we're going to need to place these a bit more centrally. The market... Actually, the market is fairly central right now. Just going to move some of these just for a moment. And get rid of the road. Yeah, so that's probably going to be quite central. It's funny, the way I've done the road just happens to be... When I'm saying central, I mean from left to right, all the way over here. Yeah, okay, actually you're probably more central like this then. Let's try that. Before I commit to anything, I want to move this up just a little bit. We're a bit too close to the beach. Right, so we have the Bardic Hearth and our lovely market here. Well, these two work kind of together, so we'll keep them together. I think they look nice together, no problems. We could put one where the back of this is at the side of the market. I don't know if that would make more sense or less.
What does that make me?
Feels like a little less sense. Let's do it this way then. Like that. Now, that's a half tile. So a road can't even fit on this properly. Which is kind of frustrating, but that's just the way the game is. Alright. We've got okay money now to redo that stuff if we need to. I don't want to build just like a giant grid. I like to offset things where I can, where it makes sense, or make things a bit more interesting. But let's say a little production hub will be down here. So we want this benefit, right, from the spinner and stuff. So we'll do one there and another one next to it. And then its own warehouse maybe next to that. We'll come down. They could probably have more things along here as well. But I guess I don't know what. I have to go further into the game to see and remember. These guys are actually ready to level up, and we have to choose Celto Romano or Smith. And I actually still don't know which one I should go for. I might go... I think if I go Celto Romano, the Emperor will like that, so maybe we should just do that. When you get to tier 3, you can get both anyway, so it's not a problem. But I'm just thinking barley is definitely good for the Smiths, but silver I think is good for the Celto Romano. And they rely on like bread and stuff from what I recall, so they're very similar to what we have in Latium. And you can share goods between the regions. So I guess we'll just go with that. Yeah. Alright, anyway. Mostly for the Emperor, though. Right, anything else that we could do with these guys? Not really. We just need to add in more and more people. Okay. So to make this more interesting, we'll go like here. Sideways along here. And a couple more like that. Now we can create a little gap between them, just, I don't know, just to make it look a bit better. Or a bit more uniform, I suppose. This can go all the way down. Now, this is where things get a bit awkward, because to see the coastline, well, we could come out and then just rotate down, right? Maybe like that? Just can't put anything near there, though, so we'd have to really go further, I suppose. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, it's no doubt it is very awkward, I find. Once we get the technology to build out in the water, though, we can create our own pier that looks a lot better. For now, we can just double up the pier, I guess. Something like that. But we can make it stone in the future, which will look a little bit better. Yeah. Super messy, but yeah, that's just, I don't know. I don't really know how better to build down here until we get, like, the Docklands DLC for Anno 1800 was great because it gave you all these cool ornaments you could put along your docks to just make it feel like one big pier, even if you have gaps. We just don't have anything like that yet. Certainly it could look a little better. Can I push that back a bit? No. Oh, there you go. Okay, that's a bit better. And again, this one could angle down this way somewhere. Okay, a simple concept and it took me forever to do, but there we go. Alright, now, we have to really build from the bottom up if we can. These all can fit houses, that's great. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I did it on purpose, obviously. It's a skill. Do we get money from these? Oh, we do. We get +3 per household. Excellent. That's good for the cockles too then. And this is pretty central. I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll have 2 and just hit the other side anyways. Great. All right, cool. That looks good so far. I'll try to speed up. I don't know if people care about me taking my time with this or not. In Anno 1800, people used to be like, well, you couldn't pause the game anyway. So I guess the game was running while I was doing something like this. And people were like, oh, you're spending way too long on like things that don't matter. These don't really fit down here now. I mean, we could just build a little thing across. They also need their services. So what do we got? The Medici. Now we want this to be maybe somewhere a bit further up. Although again, with stone roads, it will be able to pretty much reach everywhere. I'd say somewhere just across from the market. Feels weird having it right across from the market, but yeah, so I would do the Custodies maybe across from the market. The Vigilates can go above that, and the Medici behind it as a little public service area kind of thing. Just flip that for a sec. It's going to hold off on building those because they're a lot of money and everything's positive right now, so we'll just hold on to the cash. Alright, just a little bit extra to go, and then we can just kind of modularly add on to this, I think. Oh, I didn't... Oops, I thought I was copying those. I ended up moving them. So one of my favorite things to do is try to build around a road system, but it's actually so much trickier than it seems to get all the houses to connect to something. Yeah. Alright, we'll just go down to here, I guess. So you guys are covered. You have a road. You'll have a road as well. You'll need to come out and go down, hit the bottom. And then we can just about fit some stuff in. Again, on the edges here, it might be ideal to have like the hemp farms to make use of those edges. So even like here, this could be a hemp farm instead, maybe. Let's just see how that would look here, if it would fit. It does fit. And they should be able to get down there, no problem. So we could do some tiles to this point, and then everything in here. That just makes use of the uneven terrain, a little bit anyway. Until we start leveling these guys up. See, I'm cutting... I don't want to be too squiggly, but part of me is like, yeah, this could be a lot of housing space here. I mean, you could fit like another group of houses at least here. But I don't want to snake around them too dramatically. But maybe we could say from here up. So another one there, and then they'd need their own road on this side, right? So, yeah. Just a little block. Right, so the hemp farm can snake its way up this way then, I guess. 80 out of 80. There you go. Alright, so yeah, there we go. Progress. Couldn't fill that in, it wouldn't let me, so that it is what it is. Do we let time play? There we go. So, we can see what they need now, see how we're doing. So we'll need another spinner. We do have the hemp farm to support it, and more eel. So the spinner is there, and has coverage of most houses. We could do another one maybe somewhere up here. Where I suppose... Yeah, that right side doesn't really have much. Maybe just somewhere like around here then. It's really close to the center, but I don't know if that's really a problem. This would be better suited like out here, I guess, in the future. But we'll leave it where it is for now. You're gonna go on the water. So yeah, we'll have to start designing out like how we want this marshland to be. So I'll just build the road straight out like that for now. That's gonna cost us wood, so we're just gonna be waiting on the wood to come back up. They need their warehouse actually as well. And we're due one more of these to make them all work. Cool. Alright, there we go. Baby Albion. So we're missing a little bit of reach for this, but it should be okay once we get the paved roads over here. So take a little bit of a population hit temporarily, then it'll be alright in the future. And the Medici's going to fit in there somewhere. Alright, I'll leave it as is. We're going to wait for the wood to come back up. Not much else to do here. Our ship is on its way. So if we look at the region map, the provincial map, our ship is here. It's going to take 10 minutes from where it is now to reach Latium. So it's about a 12-minute journey with a standard trireme. With a trireme with sails and oars, it'll be a bit quicker. But yeah. At least we just have that going in the background. Nothing too bad about waiting about that. Alright, so, you've been here for ages. Let's unload that stuff. Have we got our trireme? No. This ship is here. Can we sell it? Let's get it off that route. No, you have to sell it at the other harbor. Well, it's gotten to full health now, actually, so I'll send it over to Diana. There's items here, actually. Let me just pause and have a read of these. Population from bread if supplied. +2. Yeah. 15,000 though to buy that. I kind of think that's quite worth it. Worth going into debt again. Or saving the money to go buy an island. I don't know, man. It's so difficult. Workforce needed is reduced for livestock farms in range. Nah, that's okay. Unfavorable wind impacts. That's okay for a ship captain, just generally. Workforce needed -25% for smelters. And workforce needed -25% for refineries in range. 2 population from bread if supplied. So if we have a look at Roma, we are supplying bread to all of our plebeians. And our eques. Oh, I think it's worth it, especially long term, because that might not come up again for a while. Let's just quickly check. Sometimes the contracts have items in them. And if they have the same item, I would be very upset. So you want to just quickly check them. They're not going to have one. And does she have one? No. Okay. I'm going to just have to make the executive decision. This is the last item we'll buy, though. All the money from here on out we're saving for those 2 islands, or at least one of them.
Take your time. But I love a quick sale.
Alright, 15,000. Pained me to do it, but we had to do it. You let me know when you get there. And in fact, you escort. Just in case something goes wrong. Trireme is 1 minute to go. And then we'll stick that on the trade route. And how are we doing for workforce here? 126. Seems to be stable. Looks good. Nice. Crammed in on this little plateau. I'm going to expand out nicely onto all these ones. They're building up their material again. How are we doing for... Yeah. So obviously that money I was kind of needing for building the aqueduct as well. So maybe the aqueduct won't be till the next episode. Does seem that way. We've got the concrete and tiles now. That's the expensive thing. It's like so expensive to build this. Each little segment. Yeah, 6 tiles, 6 concrete. So this segment here. So you have to do that so many times over. We're looking at like 100 at least for the distance that we're going to go all the way up here. Oh, by the way, I never even showed it, but this is the paved road, right? But on the quayside, so it looks great. They have like the little almost sewer gates or whatever in at the bottom, so that looks nice. So our trireme has rolled out Ariadne in our little secret bay. Alright, so simply you are just going to go on this route for now. And then we'll make another one. Just going to make another one straight away. Which we're allowed to do. I didn't think we could do it if we were negative, but we can. 6,500 yet again. And then we'll use that one to go pirate hunting. Now with this one, we're going to switch its workforce onto Arretium. That gives us our workforce back. Nice. Our flagship is escorting this guy, so you're just heading back at the moment. And once you get here, we can drop that item off, and we should see the population jump up a bit. I mean, the workforce maybe not so much, but maybe a little bit. Now, I haven't really shown this before. I mean, I'm sure people have seen it, but you can get down on the ground in this game. Those are some tall, fine ladies. We can go first person as well. You just press Control, Shift, and R to do this. And you can talk to things.
Seems to be that kind of weird.
Don't know what that noise is, but that's little Rex there, my little cat. But once we do the full paving of the streets and do the aqueduct and a few things, then we'll have a nice walk around. But every episode or every second episode or so now, there's going to probably be a little time lapse. This one was quite long because there's a big overhaul, but the next one won't be so big. It'll just be reworking the plebeian households every time we get money. But I guess actually in saying this out loud, do need to save the money now really for these islands. Because she's taking them and it'll only be a matter of time before she takes those 2 big ones. Right, so you're in. You can go to Diana, so we'll sell you. And here. Right, so residences in range get 2 population from bread if supplied. So we can just see right now we're getting 12 population, which gives us 4 workforce. 30% of the population become the workforce. Okay.
Every labor, a labor of love.
Some people make a lot of money selling bread.
Awesome, yeah, we went straight up to 14 and then 4. Wait, was it 4 before? I'm so bad at remembering things. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was 3. Excellent.
Every labor, a labor of love.
Great. Nice. It's as easy as that.
We stand waiting.
How's our new ship doing? It looks great as well. Going for its first collection. I can just see 3 pirate ships at the moment, so I'm not too worried about that. We're going to send the flagship now up to the other islands. I want to see how much they are. I think I said that before and we never got a chance to actually see. And then the last thing to check on is the ship coming from Albion. It's just going past Iberia right now. It's on its way. 4 minutes to go. Alright, so at least, you know, economy's pretty good. It's just that I need a lot more money. You know, we're making 1,000 a minute, which is great, but I just need more. And I have to rework all of this kind of side of things too. Got tons of stuff building up in surplus. If we have a look at our economy, actually, consumption-wise, porridge is fixed, fish is through the roof, bread is great, garum is great. I mean, this is indicative of being able to build a bigger population, actually, so we should probably do that. Yeah. We'll have to start doing that. So what I'll end up doing is, we'll do it in the next episode, but I'll upgrade blocks here, and then move them into their own quarters, and then replace them with Libertas again. And that way we'll be able to maintain all of the workforce as we level up, but we should get more money, because obviously the higher up you go, the more money you get per household. So our plebeians right now are earning us 17. The Libertas is 12, and the Eques is 22. So I'll tell you what, we'll even just get a few more Eques in there right now. And just on the edges up at the top here, we'll get a few more plebeians. You don't have what you need. Oh, you've got no market. Got no market range, really.
Under attack.
Oh, that's not a road. That's why. Ship's under attack. Oh my god. My new ship! Oh, the Quinkerine. Damn it. How do we keep running into that damn thing? By the way, the Pentaconter... Nope, still can't be sold. Okay, it's left me alone. God damn. Really need to move that trade route then, because that keeps happening. And it keeps... I don't know how it keeps happening, really, but it does. So we can say, go there. Go around this island, and hopefully be a bit better. There's more pirates out that way, though, but maybe it'll be better. Oh, that was a close one, I guess. Right. So, let's sell the ship. Goodbye. 5,000. Thank you very much. I know. They cost 3,000 to make, and you can sell them for 5, so it's not bad. Although it is a lot of time to make them. And you know, I wonder if you sold the ropes and the sails and the weapons, how much would you get? Not as much, I guess, but it wouldn't take you as long. Alright guys, I think that's going to have to be it for me. Just going to quickly check how much this island is. This is the one that's just to my west, so we're right here. This is the island literally just here. And I'm guessing it's like 100,000 or something. 130,000. God damn. It's way more than I even thought. If we go to Albion really quickly and upgrade our first house into Romano Celts. So, they're focused on economy and research. Mercators and nobles live in large cities and reshape the environment to their advantage by draining marshes and building aqueducts. The Celtic path, they venerate local gods in nature. Your smiths and aldermen live in small communities and gather produce from the wetlands and the forests that surround them. So cheese, cloaks, chariots. Whereas these guys need hand mirrors, bird tongues and aspics, and brooches. Let's go with them.
Looking forward to doing business with you, Gov.
She's from Northern Ireland. So there we go. We can now make tiles, bread, and sausage. We've got loads of bread back in Albion, or in Latium. We could even bring it up here, but they could make it themselves. Come across a lucrative bit of local lore. I am interested.
I'm impressed, Governor.
And there we go, 5 reputation with him. If we quickly just check that, how are we with you now?
Got a sack?
We're at 33, but we still have the timer.
We could scoop 'em up.
We'll look at her quest in the next episode, we'll read it, just so we're paying attention. Alright, at least we know that that's going to happen, but yeah, I'm just ultimately just waiting on it. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Look at this, how homely is this? So nice. Now our Romans are infesting the area. So these are called the Mercators, and we'll have a look at what they need in the next episode. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of the rework and the redesign, and I'll try to, like I said, once we get more paved roads and get the aqueduct in, we'll spend more time and I'll go over the different quarters we have of the actual build itself, if you want to call it a build, I guess. No ships in this region anymore, so now I'm just hoping to pump out triremes and send them to their various regions. That's the goal, anyway. Alright, that'll be it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, or just subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? Take it easy.